the third day be raised. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning, everyone. Who do people say that I am? That's this question that Jesus poses to the disciples. Who do the crowds say that I am? It's a question that we want to think about in our heart. And it's kind of confusing. Jesus' answer is very confusing. Peter says, the Christ of God is who Peter says that the Lord is. But all these other people have different ideas, different expectations. They have certain expectations, certain hopes or dreams or ideas of who Jesus is, what he's come to do. And at that time it was very different. They had an idea, the Jewish people had an idea of what the Messiah was going to do. And it wasn't to suffer greatly, to be rejected by the elders, the chief priests. That's not what they thought Jesus was going to do. The Messiah, the anointed one, was going to come to do. No, they thought he was a political figure. And he'd come to bring some political movement in the country to set the Jewish people free from Roman oppression. That's what they expected Jesus to do. And he asks them this question, who do the crowds say that I am? And he tells them something very strange when Peter gives the right answer. He rebuked them and told them to be quiet. Tell no one about this, which seems to be the very opposite of what Jesus asks us to do. Because Jesus does want us to talk about him, to tell others, because our heart is so full of joy and peace. He's the one who's the source of this peace, the source of this joy, the source of this happiness. That's who Jesus is. The God of my gladness and joy, we hear in the Psalms. That's who Jesus is. That's who Jesus is. And it's strange that he tells the disciples, tell no one about this. And it makes us think in our hearts. This isn't uncommon of a response that Jesus has in a lot of different situations. A lot of moments like this, people's expectations, their hopes, their dreams, their visions shattered. And Jesus tells them not to tell anyone. Well, firstly, it shows us that this question, this subjective idea that it matters up to me, to my impression, that's not the primary meaning. That's not the main meaning. This isn't a let's all sit down and think about who Jesus is to me. That's not what the purpose of this gospel is. The real purpose, just like Jesus, even when the demons, when there's exorcisms that happen, Jesus tells them to be quiet even though they know clearly who he is. The point is that Jesus is the one who gets to decide how and when and to whom he reveals himself. This is about Jesus and Jesus showing his love to us in the way that Jesus wants to. Not that we're driven by our own hopes, our own ideas, our own expectations, but Jesus is the one who gets to speak. And what does that mean? That means that this act of coming to know Jesus is one of love. It's one of love. Because love is about self-gift, self-revelation, making ourselves known, what's on our mind, what's on our heart. Just as we do with our friends, we tell them what's going on in our mind, what's happening today, what's making us happy, what's making us sad. We tell our friends these things because we love them. We open our heart to them. And this is exactly what Jesus is getting at today. I'm the one who reveal myself to others. Love is something that we do and only we can do. No one can do it for us. No one can open our hearts to them, to themselves. We have to open it to another as an act of love. What a beautiful gift today we have to see this opportunity that Jesus is wishing to open his heart to us. He opens his heart to us lovingly, generously, kindly, because that's who he is. He whose name is the Lord. He whose name is God saves. He whose name is I am with you. That's exactly what we experience at this holy altar. We can see and say with the psalmist that yes, you are the gladness of the God of my joy. That's who you are. That's who you are. Not just a God who seems far off and makes me behave in a certain way and restricts my freedom. No, you are the God of my joy. You are the God of my gladness. You are the God of my hope. You are the God of my peace. You are the divine physician. You are my hope. You are my light. You are my everything. To let us experience that and allow Jesus to speak whatever word he needs to reveal to our own hearts, whatever limited expectations we have of him. Whatever we think he can or can't do, let us give Jesus the space and opportunity to speak his words of love, words that no one else can come up with, the words that open our heart when they come forth from the gracious mouth of Jesus.